Hello tankers and tankettes, and welcome to what hopefully will be the last video on all of the Foshgate stuff, which seems to be the best way to label it, to label that side of things, the threats and the egregious statements and so forth. Basically, earlier today, as I'm recording this, probably yesterday as it will go out, Wargaming put up on the EU and the NA portal, possibly the other server portals, I'm not sure, but on the front page of the portal, on the launcher, a declarative, definitive statement about the whole thing. And the gist of it is, and I won't sit and read out the whole thing, but the gist of it is that they done goofed, which obviously is their exact words. I'm not paraphrasing there at all, no. So yes, they acknowledged that the threat shouldn't have happened. They acknowledged that the statement that then came out shouldn't have happened, that it was wrong, and they have separately apologised to Fosh for that. So that's 2 apologies from Wargaming that Fosh has now had. And to my mind, I am satisfied with this response. I think it is everything that it needed to be for Wargaming to be able to point to and say, right, this is our definitive response, we are sorry, and you know, now let's move on with our lives. And I say move on with our lives because, of course, you know, the issues that Fosh wanted to raise, and there's all that whole side of it that's, you know, that's not going away anytime soon. But as to the actual mess, the actual eruption of nonsense, I'm for one hope that we can kind of move past it, move beyond it, but I don't think, I'm not saying that like, oh, we should all just forget about it, because I don't think anybody will be forgetting about it, not anytime soon. This is definitely a stain on Wargaming's reputation, and it's just such a bad thing for Wargaming that it happened generally. I'm not saying that like in a sympathetic way, but I mean in that from a corporate PR point of view, like this was a complete disaster, because the internet has now heard of Wargaming, and not in a good way. So yeah, hopefully that all of that will contribute to Wargaming really making an effort not to make this kind of mistake in future. And it was so easy to avoid. It should not have happened. So yeah, I'm happy with that part of it, and it's just a pity that some of the community kind of responded how they did. It's maybe not surprising, and I'm thinking particularly here in terms of how people reacted and treated other community contributors, especially ones who were basically wanting to wait and see and actually find out what was going on, and to you know, get Wargaming's response and not just immediately grab a pitchfork. I think there were quite a sizable minority of people who seemed to be of the opinion that if you didn't immediately denounce Wargaming as the literal Antichrist, then clearly you were a paid shill for Wargaming, and etc, etc, which obviously is nonsense. So that was a bit disappointing. But at the end of the day, you know, you can only kind of what am I trying to go for here? You can only really represent yourself how you represent yourself. And I'm thinking, you know, particularly of when I say this, like, there's a lot of people that experience this, even World of Warships people, who are obviously still, you know, community contributors, but weren't immediately directly sort of involved. And like the likes of Quickie Baby and I think iChase and Notzer and all these, like, there's a bunch of people that did videos that, you know, they were basically having to lay out their position on it and say, well, just because I haven't said anything yet doesn't mean I'm completely, you know, in lockstep with Wargaming, and, you know, so yeah, that was disappointing. But then, you know, on the other side of the fence, there were people that seemed to be rapidly defending Wargaming, even whilst there really wasn't any kind of solid evidence either way. I mean, initially we didn't even have Fosh's screenshots. So yeah, the whole thing was a PR disaster for Wargaming, but basically what I'm trying to say here is I am satisfied with their apology and their response and their assurances. I think they were significantly, do I mean significantly? Sincerely? Something. They were declarative enough, they were strong enough is what I'm getting at. I'm fumbling for words a bit here, but yeah, like I think that if Wargaming, having said now what they've said, were to go back on it, were to do things that contradict these strong assurances that they've given the community as a whole, not just YouTubers and streamers, but everybody, that would basically be PR suicide. And this is what I was looking for. I was looking for them to pull their finger out and to make those strong assurances and to actually sound like they meant it. Because what we had on Monday, which was what resulted in me standing down as a community contributor, and Jingles, and I think Rita as well actually has stood down, that just wasn't it. That was not sufficient. But what we've had now is enough for me to be satisfied with, that we can start to move on from that part at least. But like I've said, it's not like I'm going to forget. I'm still going to be keeping a sharp eye on Wargaming after all this. And that kind of leads me into my next point, which is some people have asked, it's only been a couple of people, but some people have asked, would I consider being a community contributor again? And my kind of immediate response is, I don't know. I would like to wait and see. I would like to sit from my now greater distance from Wargaming and just see how they behave for a while, to see if, after all these promises we've had from this statement of intent, this declaration, that they actually stick to it, and that they actually do sit down and listen to the concerns of the community in a substantive way. So if Wargaming's, you know, if they're very good, if they don't get another lump of coal from Father Christmas in the next, oh, I don't know, you know, like 12, 18, 24 months, however long, then possibly yes, but also possibly no. I might decide that I still want to, you know, keep my unaffiliated status, as it were, to just be what I once was and what I am now again, which is just some dude who makes videos on YouTube and isn't directly associated with Wargaming anymore. So I honestly don't quite know the answer to that question, but a lot does depend on Wargaming, and I will be keeping an eye on Wargaming, as I'm sure many people will. So just because I'm no longer a community, you know, contributor, doesn't mean I'm going to immediately start flinging poo at them, nor does it mean after all that I've said that I'm just going to give them a free pass to do whatever they want to do in future. So yeah, a lot of it is just on Wargaming, and we will see how they behave and how they respond. And there hopefully will be some more immediate responses than others in terms of things like internal communication in WG. That has definitely appeared like it needs some improvement. There may also be some like firm guidelines for community contributors, which honestly I think would be no bad thing, so that people have an actual written down thing of, you know, if you go over these lines you will be removed from the program. And at this point, you know, after all that's happened, I suspect that Wargaming would be keenly aware that making another such mistake in future would be really, really bad. So I imagine it will have been drummed into everybody who would possibly be in a position to do a thing like issue a copyright strike, that you do not even threaten it unless there is an actual unquestionable reason to do so, like somebody's breached an NDA that they've agreed to, or some other reason, I don't know. So yes, there we are. This is where we're at, and I hope that we can start to get past some of the negativity and just, you know, all get into a more constructive frame of mind. Because at the end of the day, a lot of the criticisms that people give of the game, you know, like what Fosh said as an example, it's not like he's saying it because he hates World of Tanks and he wants it to fail. He said what he said, and he has followed up with this more detailed video where he lays out more detailed stuff that he feels need changing, he's doing it from a position of he enjoys World of Tanks and would like it to not disappear up its own bum, to, you know, phrase it slightly crudely. So yeah, at the end of the day, we have to recognise that Wargaming is a company and that they need to make money to survive. And it's the fact that they make money through the transactions in World of Tanks and selling stuff that allows there to be a World of Tanks and a World of Warships and whatever other games that they make in future. But in a way, it's kind of our job as the public face of the community to make sure that they don't go too far. And this is the whole other discussion we need to be having, is that there are elements where it feels like Wargaming has gone too far and is going too far. So, you know, that part's going to be ongoing, but as for the rest of it, it would be nice if we could, you know, slightly put it to bed, but also not just give Wargaming oh well, you know, shrug the shoulders and oh well, that's all right then. You know, we will be keeping an eye on Wargaming. So yeah, this has all been a bit more maybe rambling than I thought it would, and I actually had an idea of a comic interlude with Caption Guy on this video, but I talked right past that point, so never mind. So I think I should probably wrap this up now before I blether any longer. That's all I've got to say on the subject, and hopefully Wargaming won't do something in future that means that we have to go through a similar thing again. And, you know, we don't get to a point where I have to request to be made a community contributor just so I can resign all over again. That probably wouldn't happen. One other very last thing actually I'll note is that I do seem to have picked up a couple of hundred new subscribers as a result of all this. So hello to all the new people. Obviously, if I can't take anything else away from this but one thing, then it would be that we need lots of drama around here so I can get more subscribers. So that's what this channel's now going to become. It's just wall-to-wall drama, all of the drama, all of the time, and that'll be a winning formula, I feel. So yeah, no, I can't even joke. Those channels are terrible, really terrible. I don't know why people watch those channels, but anyway, that's a whole other rant. So hopefully you have found this video interesting, and you know, you can say so below. You can agree, disagree, whatever. But as I said yesterday, please try and be at least a bit civil. And if you did, you can use the like or the dislike buttons as appropriate. You can sub to my channel if you haven't already. And as always, stay tuned for more.